Hi, I'm Danielle with Financial Finesse, and I'm here today with our CEO and founder, Liz Davidson, to talk about our current research report on the state of U.S. employee retirement preparedness. Before we jump into the report, let's talk a little bit about the high-level think tank and what we're doing at our firm in terms of collecting data on employee financial issues.
Okay. So this is a question we get a lot, and I think it's a really important one, which is, how is this research different from other research? And the reality is, it's very different because it's like a window into the psyche, the attitudes, the behaviors, and the next steps employees are going to be taking with their finances. We're tracking helpline calls, so we're tracking the questions coming in aggregate, and how those questions and topics are changing, and what that means. And then we're also looking at the responses to a personal financial wellness assessment that employees are taking for their own education. And through all that slicing and dicing of all those interactions across all the demographics and looking quarter over quarter and year over year, we're really able to spot some very interesting trends.
So let's talk specifically then about retirement trends. What were the biggest insights you found out of this year's report?
So many insights, so I'm going to keep them as concise as possible. The first insight, which is interesting, is 2013 was a great year for employee retirement preparedness. We began really looking at this very seriously in 2011, and at that point, 16% of employees reported they were prepared for retirement. Now we're at 20%. That's a nice delta over 2 years. However, we're sitting here in October 2014. Year to date has been a steady decline in virtually all metrics of retirement preparedness, from retirement plan participation to running a retirement projection to being comfortable and confident with how your investments are allocated. It's been progressively worse each quarter. So we're really starting to worry about that and see that as a major problem that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, that seems discouraging that, we're seeing a decline. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, it puzzled us initially because if you look at it, employers are doing a great job with respect to plan design, especially those, larger employers that we work with primarily. They have auto enrollment, auto escalation, and managed accounts and target date funds, all these tools to help employees. Employees are much more engaged, and we're seeing the majority of them participate in the education. So why is this happening? And the best theory we have is there is increasing uncertainty, and that what we're seeing is kind of a flight to safety. We're seeing millennials move from their retirement plans, moving assets to pay off student loans. We're seeing much less confidence in how assets are allocated among different investments. Those kind of things, I think, are really getting in people's heads these days, and that's impacting the decisions they make and the conservatism they're taking towards their retirement planning.
We also talked about in the report 3 different groups of employees that need better education to become better prepared. And I know that the think tank has defined a new model around how to approach retirement preparedness based on these different groups. Can you elaborate on those a little bit?
So it's not that everyone is unable to retire because they haven't saved enough. That's a myth. The industry tends to sometimes oversimplify things. That's a myth. The reality is there's 3 distinct groups. One is the underfunded. They haven't saved enough, and they're going to have to figure out what they need to do to catch up. But that's not the biggest group. The biggest group is the unknowns, those that have not even run a projection in the first place, ever. So they have no idea where they stand, or if what they have is going to be enough, or what they need to be doing. I mean, imagine trying to reach a destination and just blindly turning and having no idea where you're going. That's the unknowns. They're the majority of the workforce. 50% of pre-retirees are unknowns. And then the last group, and they're an increasingly growing group, is the uncertain. These are people that actually have enough, but don't feel comfortable because of economic conditions. They don't feel comfortable retiring. You look at it mathematically, they're going to be fine. They don't feel that way, and they need to work with a counselor to get to a place where they do feel comfortable and they're fully prepared for whatever life may throw their way.
Looking at these three different groups, is there one solution to answer the issue for all three? Or is there specific education or advice or different elements of retirement preparedness that will help these different groups?
So there's not one solution to this problem. We need education, we need advice, we need great plan design and automation. We need to do everything we can to set employees up for success. It used to be that we could guarantee their security. Years ago, the gold watch, the pension, we can guarantee we'll take care of you if you work here long enough. Now, the best thing we can do is guarantee that they will have every tool and resource and benefit at their disposal to help them plan effectively, save effectively, and invest effectively. That's what employers need to be doing today, is developing those programs that help employees help themselves, because it's in their hands now.
Liz, is there anything else you want to add about the report?
Not especially about the report, but I do want to add that financial wellness is more than something that affects us each personally. How we manage our finances affects our children, our grandchildren, those around us, our spouses, maybe even our coworkers. And similar to the cause of environmentalism, similar to the cause of eating healthy and being healthy, we need to be advocating and spreading the cause of being financially responsible. I think our world economy depends on it.
Well, thanks, Liz, for joining us and for your insights about the research.
And thank you for hosting.
Anytime. Well, if you'd like to download the report, just go to our website at www.financialfinesse.com.